Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. We kind of said it over the last couple of days. I kind of want to double down on this statement, and that is this USC team, it's different in 2024 for a multitude of different reasons. Obviously, a lot of the national media will talk about this USC defense, which is frankly a large part of why we feel different about this USC team in 2024. What they did against LSU, shutting out Utah State. Yes, this defense certainly looks different from 2023 in a big way. That being said, I think this USC team is different in a lot of ways from what we saw in 2023. Want to get into why I think this USC team is different, why I think this USC team is significantly better than it was in 2023. Fired up to get into it now. Before we do, and as always, to the USC fans, it's no secret. I love talking about this program. The amount of support y'all continue to show, it's been amazing. Can't thank you guys enough. One, if y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. I'm going to give you three reasons why I think this USC team is different. There's probably five or six. So I would love to hear from you guys in the comments section. And without further ado, let's get into this one. And I want to start with something that has nothing to do with what we've seen on the football field from USC. And that is the team mentality. And it really starts with head coach Lincoln Riley. You go back to 2023, the USC fans who have been rocking with the boys for the last 12 months know I was just extremely frustrated with how Lincoln Riley was running that team in 2023, how he was talking to the media. Go back to about 12 months ago at this time, USC wins a sloppy game against Arizona, a game that they should have won 10 times out of 10. And it goes into what? Double overtime, triple overtime. It was clear that this USC team was not playing very good football. And Lincoln Riley gets in front of the media after that game and says, "Hey, I'm really happy that we're winning football games. That's where we're at. Hey, this is a win's a win." And he was kind of like content with this USC team just not playing very good football. And it was so frustrating because there are obviously problems with that USC team in 2023, and Lincoln Riley just didn't really want to talk about them. Now, you take a look at the mentality that Lincoln Riley has in 2024, even after a massive win against LSU, Lincoln Riley gets up there and says, "Yeah, well, I'm happy that we just won a football game against a very good SEC opponent, but we got a lot of things to clean up heading into 2024." And even after the Utah State game, there's this mentality around USC that it's never good enough. We have to keep improving as a football team. That is completely different from the vibe and the energy that you had around this USC team in 2023. Now, I think the second really fascinating storyline about this USC team, and quite frankly, what a lot of people missed on in the offseason in terms of projecting how this USC team would look, is this USC offense. Obviously, there was going to be some significant changes in terms of how this offense looked going from Caleb Williams to Miller Moss. There's a couple changes that I absolutely love. And I think number one, complementary football on the offensive side of the football. You look at USC last year, it was a lot of explosive plays. It was a lot of 4-3 play drives that went for touchdowns. And hey, I'm not advocating for USC to not be an explosive offense. We know we're going to get that from Lincoln Riley, but it's been a lot more methodical in 2024. Take a look at the scoring drives from Utah State on Saturday night. 9 plays field goal, 8 plays touchdown, 11 plays touchdown, 11 plays field goal, 8 plays touchdown, 11 plays touchdown, 9 plays touchdown, 7 plays touchdown. USC is still scoring on almost every single one of their drives, but they're kind of being methodical about how they want to approach this offense. And what does that help the most? It helps your defense. And why the USC were they able to put out or I guess I should say, have a shutout against Utah State on Saturday night? Yes, it's because this USC defense is significantly better than what USC was in 2023. But I think more importantly, they're being put in better spots because this offense there's a lot more rhythm to the USC offense. I mean, there was a 3-and-out, and then there'd be an 80-yard touchdown for USC last year. And they would still score a lot of points because they were extremely explosive, but it was a lot of fits and starts and putting the USC defense in a bad spot. When you can consistently string together those methodical 8 to 12 play drives and keep your defense off the field, continue to put them in good spots, the defense is going to play better no matter what. So not only is your offense putting your defense in a better spot to be successful, but I think more importantly, this defense obviously has gotten a lot better too. Now, I think the second thing that I really like about this USC offense is they're a lot more multiple. I think a lot of the frustration, and this is not me taking a shot at Caleb Williams at all. I've been on record saying one of the most impressive quarterbacks we've seen in the last 10 years. This USC team last year was very reliant on Caleb Williams just being a playmaker. And that's a good plan to have when you have a quarterback like Caleb Williams. But we kind of said heading into 2024, it'd look a little bit different. That's not necessarily bad, but it's going to look a little bit different. Take a look at the Utah State game where, hey, Utah State saw the film against LSU. They saw the verticality that these wide receivers bring to USC. They were playing three deep safeties. They were light boxing USC. Utah State consistently had 5 or 6 man boxes. What does Lincoln Riley do? He said, hey, we don't have Caleb Williams. I think there's a little bit of less pressure for Lincoln Riley to just use and kind of lean on Caleb Williams. And now he's kind of as an offensive play caller saying, yeah, I have a ton of confidence in Miller Moss. He's looked great throughout the first 2 weeks, but I got a lot of confidence in a lot of different aspects of this USC offense, and I'm going to lean on those different aspects as well. So Utah State's light boxing USC, leaving 3 safeties high. What does USC do? They run the football for 6.7 yards per carry. Woody Marks goes for 8 yards per carry. Quentin Joyner goes for 8.5 yards per carry. And they're leaning on this offensive line that we said they very well could lean on in the 2024 season. This is an offensive line that is built to road grade. And I have to give a massive shout out. Probably my worst take that I had all offseason long was that USC should be leaning on 4 wide receiver sets. And my mentality was you got guys like Deuce and Jacoby Lane and Zachariah Branch, and Mekhi Lemon and Kyron Hudson. You have so much talent at the wide receiver spot. In my idea, I was like, I want to get them all on the football field at the same time. And I kind of, one, just missed on the tight ends being difference makers in this USC offense because they've been huge, not only as pass catchers, but you take a look at this rep, first play of the game for USC. And again, Utah State comes out in a light box. Well, we got a 5-man box right now. We are going to lean on our 11 personnel and let's just go run the football. If teams are going to light box USC, and take a look at Lake McCree, you look at Lake McCree and say he is blocking his tail off consistently against Utah State. You get Elijah Page pulling around. I mean, name me a better athlete that can pull like that to the play side that's that size than Elijah Page. Special athlete. Lake McCree getting it done on the perimeter. And then take a look at Mekhi Lemon getting it done. Take a look at Jacoby Lane getting it done downfield. Woody Marks obviously doing his thing as well. This USC team is a little bit different on offense, and I think it's actually good. I think it's helping Lincoln Riley as a play caller saying there's less pressure on me to just use Caleb Williams and lean on Caleb Williams. We got a lot of good football players on this team. Let's be more multiple in terms of how we operate this offense. I think it's massively helped this USC offense. And the tight ends at Cade Eldridge, at Lake McCree, they have been absolute dog. There was a lot of times USC was going to 12 personnel, which is not a lot of things that we had on our bingo card with these two, how talented the wide receiver room is. USC's doing it different, but they're still putting up a lot of points on the scoreboard, and that's really what matters, right? It doesn't matter if you win 50-49 or 28-21. It matters that you're winning football games. That's what USC is doing on the defensive side of the football. Obviously, this is the biggest improvement that USC has made. A couple of things I want to note. One, you can tell, and again, Utah State, you're not going to get a ton. I don't think that's a great offense, but guess what? LSU was a really good offense. USC's done a couple of things really well. One, they're limiting the explosive play. You go back to Utah State, there was one play that went for over 20 yards against Utah State. More importantly, this team is tackling so much better. They missed 5 tackles all game against Utah State. 2 of them were from reserves in the fourth quarter. You had Achille Arnold missed one, and Eric Gentry missed one. And Eric Gentry was flying around all game. Second thing I want to talk about, really, really good in the red zone. They're a top 20 team in red zone defense throughout the first 2 weeks. And I think lastly, the player development. I think we wanted to talk about all the transfer portal additions who have been very good, right? Guys like Kamari Ramsey or Nate Clifton on the defensive line have been very good for USC. But these guys who were on this team last year have significantly gotten better. Take a look at Eric Gentry. I mean, Eric Gentry is one of the better linebackers in all of football right now in terms of how he's playing. Anthony Lucas, Braylon Shelby, Jacoby Covington. A lot of people kind of assumed that Jacoby Covington probably wouldn't be a starter for USC as they brought in some transfers. You are seeing these guys who were on the team in 2023 just take massive steps in the right direction. So we're more disciplined, we're tackling well, we're not blowing coverages and giving up explosive plays, but also the personnel, the player development is significantly better than it was in 2023. Those are all the reasons that this USC team is different. Yes, it's primarily on the defensive side of the football, but I think there's a lot of significant changes and a lot of different vibes from this USC team, top to bottom. Starting with the head coach, what you're seeing on offense, what you're seeing on defense. That's what stands out to me for USC throughout the first 2 weeks of the season. Obviously, not a much needed bye week. I bet USC fans would want to play another game right now on this Saturday. Obviously, you're going on the road to the big house week 4, going to be a massive game. Hard to argue that this USC team is not going in the right direction quickly. We'll close it out there. Again, appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.